Do you ever feel like you are losing control of your students in your classroom? I mean, let's be serious. Teaching music and managing energetic students, especially young students or students with special needs or 12 different kinds of things going on in your classroom can be really challenging. But don't worry, I've got you. I've got you. Today, I'm sharing 5 simple strategies that will keep your students engaged and your classroom running smoothly. Let's get started. Hey friend, my name is Pam Wilson and I am a general music teacher in Northern Virginia in the USA. I am absolutely passionate about helping teachers, especially new teachers in their first few years, to get their feet under them and really feel confident and make a difference for their students every single day. So if that is you, you are in the right place. So let's find out about those strategies I was telling you about. Strategy number 1 is set clear expectations from the very beginning. Now, are they going to remember it all year? No, you're going to have to review it as you go, but you have to set clear expectations from the beginning. Any rules that are really actually rules and not procedures, rules have to be very simple. I have 3 rules: be safe, be kind, and be responsible. So be safe, don't get hurt, don't hurt anybody else. That helps me all kinds of ways. When they are dancing, when they are moving, when they are interacting with each other. So we talk about not only physical safety, but we talk about emotional safety. So be kind, that goes into more of the emotional safety. So when we speak, we use kind words. No, we do not talk to each other like that. We use kind words. So very simple. And be responsible. That means if you get it out, you put it away. If you get it out, you put it away. That's pretty much it. So 3 very simple rules. The other thing about your rules is that you can't just talk about them. You have to have them actually posted somewhere visually and posted somewhere obvious, so that as you're teaching, if things come up, you can go, let's take a look at rule number 2, shall we? Because I'm seeing some people not being kind right now. Because these are very simple rules that work. They talk about them at the beginning of the year, but then you review them as you go through. Give them clear expectations. Have them out there and you talk about them all the time. And then if they don't follow them, there are some consequences. What are your very simple rules that you use in your classroom? You have to set them and be very clear with them. Share the rules that you have in your class and how do you make them very clear from the very beginning of the year. The second strategy is to use call and response, or an echo strategy, to get their attention. These are attention getters. There are a million different attention getters. Some are called callbacks. There's lists and lists of callbacks online that you can use. One that I've heard in my building a lot that a new teacher used last year, and a lot of people liked it and they kept doing it, is class, class, and the class says yes, yes. It's very simple. Class, class, yes, yes. If you say it fast, they say it fast. If you say it slow, they say it slow. And you echo that with them and you kind of make it a game with them, and then it becomes a thing. That's not mine, but that's one that I know of. One that I heard recently, because it was at the end of a song recently, and I was like, oh, that could be a really fun one. When you go bump, ba-da-dum, bum, and the class goes bump, bump. So that one's kind of fun. Some different musical ones. I like musical ones in the music room because it just makes so much more sense because we're practicing music as well as doing other things. Of course, you can do the echo clapping when you go clap, clap, bup, bup, bup. And that's so old at my school that the kids are like, whatever, So I always make sure that I change up the rhythm based on who's in front of me. So if I'm doing older kids, I'll do syncopated rhythms, and I'll do 16th note rhythms, and I'll do dotted rhythms, and all kinds of crazy stuff to keep them engaged. And they're like, wait, what did she just do? I don't think I can do that one. Okay, let me try it. So if I go bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 then they're like, oh, wait, what was that? So it's different. Something unique, something that will catch their attention. That might be a really good idea for clapping patterns. I was at a school when I first returned to the district that I'm in. I did a long-term sub position for a semester, half the year, And from one of the teachers there, yay, Laura Spirito, hello, thank you. She taught me one that I just loved. They were more of a Kodai focused school. I'm sort of everything focused. I'm ORF certified, but I do some Kodai stuff too. But they used to go, woo, whoop, and everybody would go, woo, whoop. And I was shocked at how that sound pierces through anything you're doing. I like to use that one if I've got centers going in my classroom, if we're all practicing different instruments and we've got, everybody's doing independent work and I just need to stop everybody for a second and give them a suggestion about the project or interrupt them to say, well, I'm seeing a few people doing blah, 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 and that should not be happening. So I'll go, woo, whoop, really high, and then they will be able to hear that through anything, and they echo that back. And if they don't echo me, then I change it to some other pattern. So that's actually a really good one too. It should only take 2 or 3 repetitions before everybody's with you. If they're not, then just stop everything and say, that signal is not working. You have to do this. If I can't get your attention, then rule number 1 is not happening. Remember rule number 1? That's right. Be safe. If I can't get your attention immediately, then that's a problem in our classroom because you are not safe. If I have an emergency in this room, I have to have a way for you and I to be able to communicate immediately. And I tell them that because they have to know. That's why. It's not because I'm being a jerk or anything. I need your attention. When I need your attention, it could be that it is an emergency. And if it's an emergency, I need it right now. But this is training that we do all along the way because just in case. I hate to say that, but just in case. Before we leave this strategy, the strategy of doing callbacks or some kind of an echo strategy, what's your favorite echo strategy? Leave a comment below and let us know. Are there some cute ones that you've learned? Pass them along because those of us who've been in the field for a while, we need some new blood as well. All right, moving on to strategy number 3. Strategy number 3 is keep your transitions tight. Transitions should be quick and efficient. They work on that in their classroom. They need to work on that with you as well. And you might think to yourself, well, I don't really transition because they only come for 30 minutes. Some of us, I have some classes for 30 minutes, but then I have other classes that are longer. Even within a 30-minute class, you're going to have times when we're doing a warm-up and then now we're getting in a circle. And then now we're going to go get a book out or get a paper out. And now we're going to go get some manipulatives out. So, we're going to go get instruments. And then we're going to come back to our seats. So there's always times when you're going from here to there. I've worked with a lot of new teachers where this is their thing that breaks down behavior issues all the time. They pause too long before they get the kids doing something else. But I'm noticing this recently in that when I am trying to get kids to go from here to there, I'm always doing something else. So for example, one of my older grades came in, I think it was a 5th grade today, 5th and 4th grade actually, we have the Share the Music books. They're the old Share the Music books, but they got good songs in it if you have some of those books. So I said, we did whatever warm-up thing we were doing. And I said, all right, everybody go, and I switched to the slide and it said, everybody go get an orange book, be back in count of 10. I love to give them a count of 10. 10, 9, 8, and so forth until they're back to their seats. And there they are. And then when they get there, by the time I get to 1, I go, look at you, didn't even take you I got to 1. You were back to your seats by 3. Good job. Very efficient. And we move on. Maybe I just say, go get a book and come back and find the page. And I'm over at my desk doing something. And then as soon as I notice somebody found a page, I go, oh, so-and-so found the page. They're the first ones. Can anyone else do it? And then it's a race. Then it's a race. That makes it a quick, efficient. There's some kids still over at the shelf grabbing a book. They're back in their seats. They're looking for the book. Now I have smaller groups for my older kids. But if I have a larger group, when they're going to get something, they're going to get a paper, they're going to get an instrument, they're going to get a book, something, I usually call them by rows. I have 4 rows, 3 rows in most classes, 4 rows in the larger classes, and I have 3 rugs. So that's usually how I will call people to go get things, depending on how many kids I want moving at a time. So everybody on the gold carpet, go get a whatever. Everybody on the whatever, and you at about the time you see you see maybe 2 kids not quite there, then I send the next group. And then they're like, oh, some more kids are here. I need to get out of the way. That gives them that impetus to actually, we got to move along. Let's move along. Let's move along. Be ready for the next thing that's coming, because when you're done with that song, you in your head already should have, what are we doing next? So after the song, we have to put the books back, but then they're going to get their recorders out. So get your book, put your book away, go get your recorder, come on back. Start looking at this song. Now again, you're giving them a purpose to get back to their seat. That's another great transition technique, is to not only just have them get it and sit there, because if they're getting it and sitting there, guess what? They're going to mess around with somebody. But if they're getting it and sitting there, and I told them to get out their latest song, now they're practicing on their own while the other people are finishing getting their folders. I've even seen teachers use a little bit of a song or a little bit of a clip of some music to be their transition music, where the kids know that if they hear the song and they get to this part, they better be back to whatever they're doing so that they are ready to roll for the next part. So once again, before we leave this strategy, leave your comment below of how do you transition quickly? How do you get the kids to efficiently transition from this activity to the other activity, from this part of the room to that part of the room, and so that they are ready to go for the next part of your lesson? Because every moment in our classroom is precious. Every moment is a gem. Every moment we have to capture. And if we spend a whole lot of time just messing around and trying to find this and trying to find that, you got to think about those systems in your classroom that make things run smoothly. So share what you do down below in the comments so that we all can learn. Strategy number 4 harkens back to the call and response that we did before, the callbacks and the call and response and the echo, and that is your go-to attention getter. When the kids hear this particular sound, that means stop what you're doing and you must pay attention. This is that emergency sound that we need. Could be the word freeze, sometimes that's it, but it could also be a symbol or a signal or a instrument, a certain instrument that you play, that they know if they hear that, they need to pay attention. Our school is a responsive classroom trained school. Some teachers do it full out. Let's be honest. Some teachers do it full out in their classroom and some teachers don't. And that means that kids come to you from lots of different classrooms. They may have different experiences with this, but if you have done responsive classroom, you know about the chime, right? The chime is the thing. I find that in my classroom, I have other ways of getting their attention, but I find that when I get that chime out and I hit that chime, it's such a high, beautiful, pure tone that everybody's like, what is that sound? And you can use that as your attention getter throughout the year. That could be everything that you do is with a chime. But for me, that's my absolute I need your attention chime. So that's another thing that cuts through all the noise. If I can't get my hands on it, maybe again we're working projects and I'm helping groups and whatnot, and I need everybody's attention, that's when that woo, that's the other thing that is my go-to. You have to listen to me if I do that, because that is absolutely means I need your attention. This is a safety issue, so sometimes you just need their attention. And unfortunately, sometimes it's because of safety. Maybe somebody fell and got hurt. Somebody cut themselves. Somebody, bad things happen in our classrooms too. A kid's having a medical emergency and you need everybody's attention right now. You need everybody to freeze and sit down because we've got to handle this together. Those are the kinds of things that you must do. Have a go-to attention getter. Now, whatever attention getter you choose, make it consistent. If your attention getter is turning off the lights, only do that when you really need it. Don't make it like all the time. Make it the thing that you do. The kids know that it's consistent. They will be much more able to follow through with those things that you want them to do. Strategy number 5. You've made it all the way to the end. Good job. Yay. Make engagement the focus. Rick Smith writes about this. He writes about teaching the kids what ready to learn looks like. So ready to learn means that you are turned towards the teacher. In my room, this is what ready to learn. You turn towards the teacher, you have a calm body, calm hands, and you are looking at the teacher. You are not talking. So every now and then we practice. What does ready to learn look like? And sometimes I'll just say, you are not ready to learn right now. I'm going to sit down in my chair and you let me know when you're ready. I'll know. How will I know? Because you'll be quiet, you'll be looking at me, you'll be ready. You'll be listening. I see my little children in front of me right now. Right? So usually, and at this point in my school, because I've been there for several years, they know. They know. But when you first started a school, they don't know. They don't know that you're going to wait. And you don't have to be mad about it because kids don't like it. I mean, obviously, nobody likes it when you get mad at them because it's behavior. They're learning behavior just like they're learning everything. They're learning behavior just like they're learning music. So if you teach them that I'm not going to get mad at you, but I'm going to help you to understand what's expected. So what's expected when I'm teaching a lesson, I'm going to make this short, and I tell them sometimes, I say, I am saying this because it's important. I'm saying this because our state board of education says you need to learn stuff. I'm not just making this up out of my head. There is a program of studies that I'm following, and it says third graders need to know this. So if I'm saying something to you, it's important. It's not because I'm trying to bore you. I'm trying to help you learn. So their engagement, their involvement in it is important. Understanding that when they're very young, my kindergartners, still have a few kindergartners. Most of them are on board at this point in the year. I'm about more than halfway through the year at this point. The beginning of the year, there are going to be 3 or 4 kindergartners that just got to watch. And you have to teach them, no, this is a doing class. This is not a watching class. This is a doing class. So we're all going to stand up. We're all going to do the actions. We're all going to do. I had one kindergartner last week or the week before. We were doing, I don't know, it was some play along thing, hello song, and I was having them dance, just move and wiggle and dance. Most of the kids were doing great. This little kid was crying, and I was like, what is happening? So I pulled him off to the side, and I go, what's going on? He goes, everybody's watching me, I'm dancing. And of course, they're kindergartners, nobody's watching you. They're all about themselves, but he was all convinced that everybody's watching him. And he goes, all right, kid, to feel weird dancing. And I go, okay. I said, well, I said, for me, moving is just moving something. Can you move your hands? Can you wiggle your fingers? And he goes, yes. And I go, okay. Next time you need to dance, can you do that? If you're comfortable with that? He goes, yes. As long as they're participating in some way, whatever that participation looks like for them. You and I both know that you've got special needs kids who their participation looks different than the general ed kids. We know this, but their participation is important. And their success in music, as with other things that are skills, their success in music only comes from trying things. This week we are doing improvisation in some of my older grades, and we tried some recorder improvisation where you have everybody try it together, and then you try it with a partner, and then you try it one at a time in the big group. So little by little, you're letting go of that, secrecy or privacy or whatever, so that it becomes more and more public if they feel comfortable doing that. So whether they're singing, whether they're playing an instrument, whether they're doing whatever, eventually they feel like they can maybe do it by themselves. Not always. Sometimes that takes time. Sometimes you'll have a kiddo or two that won't do it. But getting them so that they are participating fully, whatever that looks like. The most important thing, Robert Marzano always said, the most important thing is that the children know that you care whether or not they're successful. So if they know that you're really all about them being successful, then they will be right there with you. You care about their success. You care about them learning. You care about them growing. And then they will be right there with you. After all, the more engaged they are, the fewer behavior problems you're going to be having, because they're going to be having fun. They're going to be singing fun music. They're going to be doing some games. They're going to be playing instruments. They're going to be dancing dances. And that's where the beauty of our programs really come in, is that they learn how to be human beings in the planet. They learn a little bit about the cultures of our country, and they learn how to really just enjoy music. As we wrap this up, I have a question and a challenge. So my question for you is, which of these strategies do you already use? And my challenge to you is, if you are not using all of these strategies, choose one and try to put that into place this week in your classes. Do leave a comment and let us know how it goes in your classroom and how any struggles that you are having in getting that behavior in place so that you can have your kids really enjoying music. Remember to like and subscribe for more teaching tips, and don't forget to check the description for some free resources that I have available for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.